So I've recently acquired a Costco membership, which I texted Kathleen about immediately, and it has allowed me to acquire the most gigantic box of Diet Dr. Pepper that I have ever seen in my life. That's correct. That is a 36 pack of Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm kind of in heaven right now.
We forever are. We are magic, magic, magic.
All right, boys and girls, cats and kittens, I'm bringing you the next installment of KEGMTL, which I haven't done in a really long time. And I have a really, really good one for you today. I'm pretty sure it may or may not be my favorite of the Greek hero myths. This one is the myth of Theseus. His mother is Aethra, the daughter of the king of this town, Troezen. I don't really know if I'm saying that right, but I'm going to say Troezen. And Pythias had arranged for Aegeus, who was the king of Athens, to marry Aethra. And so they married. Aegeus came to Troezen. They married. And on their wedding night, Aegeus and Aethra did the deed. But then at some point in the middle of the night, Aethra got up and wandered away. She ended up finding Poseidon, and they did it. So, in the same night, Aethra did it with her husband, her new husband, and the god of the sea. So, by some sort of ancient Greek god magic, Theseus has two daddies and a mom. So, they're... I don't want to go into it anymore. But both Aegeus and Poseidon are Theseus's fathers. So, Aegeus is hanging out, even though he's the king of Athens, he's hanging out in Troezen with Aethra for a while, and then suddenly she's pregnant. And Aegeus is like, oh shit, so I gotta get back to Athens. I don't understand why, if they were married. Maybe they weren't really married. Maybe it was one of the books I read that said they were married, but maybe he was just like hanging out in Troezen for a while and then was getting busy with Aethra. I don't know. Either way, suddenly when Aethra turns up pregnant, Aegeus gets super shady and is like, okay, peace out, lady friend. I gotta get back to Athens. And I just remembered that I apparently have a kingdom to rule. So, but he said, on the off chance that this thing you're impregnated with, on the off chance that it is a boy and it's heroic, like me, I'm gonna hide my shoes and this sword under this giant rock. You tell him that I buried this shit here, and then he can unbury it, and then he can come on to Athens, and he can hang out with me. But apparently, Aethra has to stay in Troezen. I don't know why that made any sense. Theseus grows up in Troezen, and of course, he's super strong, he's super brilliant, he's a bright, shining star because he's part god. And when he got to the right age, Aethra was like, oh, P.S., so you know your dad that you've never met and that I've never talked about? Well, before he shiftily ran off to his home kingdom, he buried some shit under this rock. So you should probably go find that stuff. And, you know, you can go join him if you want. Peace out. And then we never hear from Aethra again, so I guess she just stays in Troezen. It's really sad. So Theseus is like, hell yeah. And so he goes, he finds this rock, finds the shoes and the sword that his father had left there so many years ago, and he's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go on to Athens. As opposed to safely going on a ship and going into Athens, he decided to go by land. And from what I'm gathering, traveling by land in ancient Greece was very, 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 very dangerous. All the roads, whatever road system they had, or whatever, were filled with these dangerous bandits. And these people, these just like insane, bloodthirsty people that will do sick shit to you if they find a group of travelers in the night or in the day or any time. So Theseus was going to risk everything, was going to risk his own safety by going from Troezen to Athens via land. Just because he wanted to be a badass, wanted to make sure his names and his deeds were remembered. So it was a long and hazardous journey, and he came across a whole bunch of these dangerous bandits, such as Sciron. He would come upon travelers, and he was just older and would lure them in that way, and he would ask them to wash his feet. And so whatever nice travelers come and want to wash this old guy's feet, just do him a favor. When they were bent over, he would push these people off the cliff, whatever cliff they were on. So if you guys ever see an old guy on a cliff that wants you to wash his feet, run. Because he'll probably push you off the cliff. I think that's kind of common sense. I don't spend a lot of time hanging out on cliffs. And I guess if I saw a shifty old guy on a cliff, I don't know. I mean, this is now, that was ancient Greece, so maybe people were more trusting then. Whatever. So that was his shtick. There was Sinus, who liked to fasten his victims between two pine trees that were apparently bent down to the ground. Maybe I'm guessing they were bent down like towards each other, fasten them, and then he would let them go, and they would get pulled apart. Procrustes, which is a disgusting sounding name, who apparently had this weird obsession with this iron bed frame. Oh, I can give you a bed for the night. They would lure them in, and they would, like lay down on this bed, this iron bed frame. And then what he would do is he was obsessed with making people fit the bed. So if they were really short, he would have them stretched out so they fit the bed. Or if they were really tall, he would lop off whatever parts so they would fit the bed. So they would die painfully either way. Periphetes, who was known as the clubber, I'm guessing he would club people to death. He had some kind of weapon. And this other guy, Cercyon, who would like to challenge travelers to a wrestling match, would wrestle them, beat them in the wrestling match. So Theseus came across all of these guys and killed them all. But what was especially cool is that he killed them all in the ways that they had been killing travelers for however many years. He arrives to Athens and people were like losing their shit because they were so excited that someone was finally had challenged these guys and had saved them from these creepy men in the woods. And Aegeus, who at this point doesn't know that Theseus is his son, Aegeus is like, who the hell is this guy? So he invites him to the palace, puts some poison in a cup, gives it to Theseus, and Theseus is this close to drinking from it, and he's like, wait, hold on, let me show you my sword. And so he throws the drink away, obviously doesn't drink the poison, shows him his sword, and he's like, you're my dad, and he's like, you're my son. So Aegeus and Theseus hug. I mean, this isn't in any of my books, but I'm assuming they hug. Maybe they did some sort of equivalent of an ancient Greek bro hug, but that's not all.